What's up YouTube, Galdite74 here, back for week 6 of the PEBA. Our challenge for this week is another conference rival of ours who has the exact same record as us. We face the Rat 1 Raichus, coached by Gengar Raichu. His links will be in the description as always. I'm doing things a little different this week. I'm going to post comp over the battle while I set the battle to a really slow pace, so the post afterthoughts won't be as long, but the battle will be, so, you know. So I hope it looks better in the end. A timestamp will appear now to skip right to the battle, and let's go get this team builder going. So the Rat 1 Raichus have two, sort of three, extremely tough Pokemon that I have little to no answer for. But let's look at his whole draft. His draft consists of Mega Beedrill, Tapu Koko, Hoopa Unbound, Hawlucha, Necrozma, Snorlax, Empoleon, Incineroar, Ditto, Druddigon, and Hitmonchan. My team hardly has a switch in on Hoopa and Necrozma, and having a Ditto running around is really hard to prep for with my offensive team this week. Besides that, my team of Gardevoir, Thundurus, Palossand, Sawk, Doublade, and Suicune can handle the rest of his team pretty well. So the first Pokemon I am bringing this week, as I had just mentioned, is Gardevoir. Gardevoir is max special attack, 248 speed with a timid nature, 8 HP with the Fairy MZ, moves being Psyshock, Moonblast, Will-O-Wisp, and Wish. Now, Gardevoir is my main support Pokemon of the week. Even though it does not really the bulk, it definitely has the moves to be a support Pokemon. Now, originally, I was going to run Gardevoir as a main sweeper, but it's a little just too slow for me to beat out Koko, Beedrill, and Hawlucha, because this seems really fast, and locking myself into one move with the Choice Scarf isn't really ideal, considering Psyshock and Moonblast hit everything, but if you lock yourself into one, then you can just come in for something that counters it. He has no Heal Bell or Aromatherapy, so Will-O-Wisp on this Gardevoir is there to stay on opponents, so that's good to have. Wish passing, Wish is very useful if I want to heal up on Pokemon like Doublade or something like that, and even the Thundurus too. Fairy MZ is there to nuke a few members of his team. This includes Tapu Koko, Hoopa, Hawlucha, Druddigon, and Hitmonchan. So that's for just straight up power. And it can come in on a defensive Druddigon, but it cannot come in on a Hitmonchan because Bullet Punch literally destroys his Gardevoir. So it's going to be kind of tough because Gardevoir actually can't come in and take many hits, but if it isn't, it can do its job very well. And that's how we're going to use Gardevoir this week. The next Pokemon we are bringing this week is Thundurus. Thundurus is holding the Expert Belt with Prankster, as always, with 252 max special attack, 116 speed, 4 special defense, and 136 HP. Moves being Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Sludge Wave, and Nasty Plot. Now, Thundurus, I put T-Wave on here because Prankster T-Wave cripples his really fast threats, except for Tapu Koko, so I have to be careful about that. Nasty Plot is after, and nothing wants to. If I Nasty Plot up, nothing wants to take a T-Bolt or a Sludge Wave. If I use the right move, it does a lot of damage to almost all of his team. Particularly the mons that Thundurus can beat well are Hawlucha, Empoleon, and Necrozma. Necrozma sort of. It's not like I don't imagine Necrozma having a move that's gonna do a load of damage to Thundurus besides Photon Geyser, and even then it won't completely destroy it. Surprisingly, I don't have Volt Switch or U-Turn this week on Thundurus. I like to run those two on it, but it's not on there this week, so it's not gonna be in and out like it usually is. And for the Ditto, I'm gonna do this after each Pokemon. For Ditto, if it transforms into my Suicune or my Sawk, this is what I switch it into it, because Suicune can't really touch it too much, and Sawk, apologies for that noise in the background. And so I did not throw knockoff on Sawk for this reason. Sawk cannot hit Thundurus whatsoever. So that is the Thundurus for this week. The next Pokemon we have on the team is Palossand. Palossand is holding the leftovers with max special defense and 248 HP and the last 8 in special attack, with a bold nature so it can take hits on both sides. Moves being Stealth Rock, Shore Up, Earth Power, and Shadow Ball. This is an extremely standard Palossand set. It's a special defense wall of the week. Stealth Rock hurts a lot of his team, especially with all the U-turners and Volt Switchers he has. He's going to be in and out a lot, and if I can get Stealth Rocks up, it's going to whittle down his team pretty quickly. With this Palossand, I can particularly take a Nature's Madness and then an HP Ice from Tapu Koko, and then I can just one-shot it with Earth Power. And I don't know if he's expecting that, but that's kind of like a counter to Tapu Koko this week. This wall is Hawlucha completely. The most damage Hawlucha can do to Palossand is like 24% or something like that with Brutal Swing, and I don't see him holding that. So it's gonna just completely wall that thing. Knockoff hurts, but I can still beat a Mega Beedrill 1v1. I don't want to take the knockoff, but I have to. I will. And for the Ditto, if this Ditto transforms into Palossand, oh no, not into Palossand. If it turns into Thundurus, I can switch in Palossand because T-Bolt and Sludge Wave just don't do anything to Palossand. So that is the Palossand of the week, the special defensive wall of the week. And the next Pokemon we have is Sawk. Sawk is holding a Choice Scarf with max attack, 216 speed with a Jolly Nature, and 40 in HP. I think I just said that already. Moves being Close Combat, Earthquake, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch. Now, there's no knockoff, as I just said, because 1, I don't want Ditto knocking off any of my items, and 2, without knockoff, you can't really touch my Thunders too much. This outspeeds everything except for the Scarfers, so that's why it's 216 speed. This does very well against Empoleon and Incineroar. It's kind of especially Incineroar, it's kind of a good way to deal with that this week because it hits it really hard. Snorlax, if it's not a setup mon, like Cursed Lax or whatever, I can hit it with Close Combat twice. I have sturdy, so then I'll just knock it out. So that's the Stalk for this week. It's here that should do a lot more chip damage than anything, but again, Empoleon, Incineroar, and Snorlax don't want to be facing this thing whatsoever. Our 5th member of the squad this week is going to be Doublade. Doublade is holding the Eviolite with no guard, with 248 HP, 240 attack, 4 defense, and 16 speed with an adamant nature. Moves being Iron Head, Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, and Sacred Sword. Now, Doublade is another standard set this week with Eviolite. I did put a little bit of speed into it though to speed creep a speed creeping Snorlax. That does sound kind of, if he does end up trying to speed creep Snorlax, I will be able to outspeed it still, which is very important because I don't want Snorlax getting off 2 Earthquakes instead of 1. This beats a setup Snorlax because Sacred Sword ignores boosts, so that's good because Stalk can be a non-setup Snorlax. A non-setup Snorlax, my bad, and Doublade can beat a setup Snorlax. So I have ways to deal with both types of ways. This also counters Hitmonchan as it blocks Rapid Spin, and Hitmonchan can't hit it too hard. This kind of counters Beedrill as knockoff, but besides Sacred Sword, I can click any move, and then Mega Beedrill just kind of dies. Shadow Sneak twice, Shadow Claw or Iron Head once. So I really only have to take 1 hit from this thing if I'm not switching on it. So that's good. And then lastly, for Ditto, if it does transform, can't talk today, into Gardevoir, I can just switch this in. I do gotta be careful about Will-O-Wisp though, because I don't want my Doublade getting burned. So I do have to play around the match. I don't really have to worry about it getting burned by that point. So that's kind of it for Doublade. I apologize for stuttering a lot. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm noticing it as I record this. So just apologies for that. And our last Pokemon we are bringing is Suicune. Suicune is holding leftovers with 248 HP, 116 defense, 4 special defense with a calm nature, and 140 speed. Moves being Scald, Roar, Signal Beam, and outspeeds and max speed Incineroar, so I did have to put a lot of speed into that. It is my main counter to Incineroar, as Sulk is my only other answer to that thing. Intimidate does kind of suck, so I think Suicune is definitely the better answer. I did put Signal Beam on there because so avenging it will be easier because Sulk can outspeed it and KO it. And who else can? A Doublade, Shadow Sneak might not. If I get a high roll, I can. It depends on rolls at that point. Things down, and Roar is for the Mega Beedrill if it just so happens to be behind a sub or Swords Dancing. And that's kind of the Suicune for this week. The Hoopa's so hard to prepare for, and Suicune is literally my only thing I have, considering I have no really strong bug type on my entire draft. So this is kind of the main switch in for that. That is the team for this week. For the second week in a row, we aren't bringing Mega Venusaur. The Petra with all the Psychic types was a little too much for me to want to bring him this week. But I'll be right back, and we'll watch the battle on Pokemon Showdown and look over it as the battle's going on. So I'll see you there. Alright, so we're about to start here. Of course, he doesn't have the Ditto, which I over-prepared for, in my opinion, the most. But we're going to start off this battle. He starts off with Necrozma, and I start with Thundurus. Thundurus is a good lead because it does good to his team. I'm thinking here, a +2 Nasty Plot can kill a Necrozma, and I can live any hit, which you see it does right here, 48%. And then I go for the Thunderbolt, and then, it lives on 5, which that kind of bothered me. So he got extra damage off. If I just went for 2 Thunderbolts, that probably would have killed. I don't know. It's all rolls, and I think I just got a low roll there. But this turn, I finish him off with Sludge Wave. I have no health, so I didn't think it was worth, switching out and trying to, okay. Anyway, he's engine Beedrill, and I'm thinking, I can just Thunder Wave here because I have Prankster. So I decide I'm going to Thunder Wave instead of get damage off because I'm not faster. So I Thunder Wave, and this is pretty big because he actually gets paralyzed. And this is huge because now I'm faster, and I can just take out the Beedrill because Beedrill is frail. So that's kind of big. Hacks kind of helps me out there. Sent to the Tapu Koko, and he's just going to revenge kill me with U-turn, which is fine because I can get the initiative in this. So yeah, it's very hacksy start in my opinion here. He sends out Hoopa, which is obviously the biggest threat to my team. I send out Suicune, as I said earlier. It's kind of my counter, even though I don't really have a counter. Now here's another big turn we have, as Suicune gets paralyzed, and he actually does get paralyzed this turn. I would have done Signal Beam, which would have done over half, and now Hoopa's just laying at full health, and there's a dead Suicune. So this is kind of a problem, obviously, as Hoopa's just there.
So the hacks are kind of even out. I send out Salk because it's literally my best counter to this thing now, I guess. He sends out Tapu Koko with the good read as I went for the Thunder Punch because it was an electric terrain. It was boosted. I didn't think he was staying in, but he made a good play there. I sent in Gardevoir here to take the U-turn because I know he's going for the U-turn or the Volt Switch, but I kind of saw U-turn because I have 2 ground types. So he sends in Empoleon. Gardevoir cannot touch this thing whatsoever, so I just go right back out to Salk as he goes for the Flash Cannon, which sucks. Now here was a really tough decision because 3 of my moves hit is super effective. I went for the Earthquake because it hits most of his team, and of course he's got the Shucka Berry, and he goes for the Flash Cannon and finishes me off. If I went for Close Combat there, he would have been dead, but I didn't want him to switch into Hawlucha or Tapu Koko, so that's why I did that. Anyway, we got Doublade now just to kill the Empoleon. Thank God we don't get burned there, and Empoleon goes down. Now the problem is, now Hoopa can just come in and click a move and kill everything. So in my mind, this battle is basically over. So Hoopa comes in. I just go for Shadow Sneak because it's damage. It does quite a lot because Hoopa's defense is actually not that great, as he finishes me off with Dark Pulse. So now I switch in Gardevoir because Gardevoir can maybe possibly take a hit. I'm not sure, guaranteed. But he switches out. It's telling me he's choicing something. I go for the whole Twinkle Tackle. My first time actually using the Z move, I think, this year. And it takes out the Tapu Koko, which is really big, actually, in my opinion. So it's a 2v2. Now he sends out Hawlucha. Now I'm thinking Palisand completely walls this thing. So I'm going to switch in Palisand. I don't see him going out in the Hoopa. So as he goes for the Poison Jab, which, you know, does 4%, as you just saw there. Now I'm just going to start walling this thing. I know Hoopa can completely destroy this thing, but I'm basically trying to stall out turns here with Hawlucha with Palisand. Palisand's doing nice damage with Shadow Ball as he's doing nothing with Acrobatics. I'm going to shore up a few times, obviously right on this turn here, just so I can, like, you know, try and take a hit from Hoopa. I don't think I will. I'm mainly concerned about the Hoopa right now. I just said that like 5 times. But because Hawlucha can't really touch this thing, and now I can just take it out anytime I want. If this Hoopa is Specs, it is going to absolutely obliterate Gardevoir. If it's anything that boosts the power of its Dark-type moves, it's going to destroy it. But if it's like Scarf, I actually have a chance to live a hit. So that's kind of running my mind. I wasn't thinking he was Scarfed. I'm thinking he's Specs, so I kind of was just expecting me to lose this battle. I honestly thought I lost this battle already. So Palisand's healing up. I think this is the turn I believe I go for the Shadow Ball and knock out this Hawlucha. Yeah, I do. And Hawlucha goes down. So it's a 2v1, but it's a Hoopa Unbound coming in. So here we go. Electric Terrain goes out, so Thunderbolt isn't doing much, but, you know, we see the Dark Pulse coming. So Hoopa's going to go for the Dark Pulse, as I just said, and Palisand goes down this turn. Now this next turn is the biggest turn of the game and the last turn of the game, as I'm going to go for Moonblast, which definitely knocks out Hoopa, and he's probably going to go for the Dark Pulse. So I see on this turn he is actually Scarfed, so I live the hit, and Gardevoir gets flinched. And that cost me the game right there, and that is the game. And what an exciting game this was, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun. It was very hacksy, and there's just so much to go over about it. The paralysis on Beedrill was huge, as he lost a lot of momentum with that. And the paralysis on Suicune was pretty big as well, because Hoopa was left with no damage, and even though damage-wise that didn't really mean a whole lot, he could have it could have affected the way he made some moves different in this game, so that could have possibly been a factor there. And then, you know, the flinch at the end, that's how Pokemon is, not upset about it. I think he did prep extremely well with the Shucka Berry and Empoleon. That took me off guard. I had 3 moves, and I chose the wrong one, but, you know, he put the Shucka Berry probably because of the Crook and the Palisand. And I do like the way he did play with the Hoopa. He knew damn well that did really good work against my team, and he took advantage of that, and it made it close at the end. That's why. I apologize to Gengar Raichu. I said GG before the last turn occurred. I didn't say that because I knew Gardevoir was gonna live. I actually thought I lost the battle by then, so I lost hope. I said GG, thinking the battle's over, and then, you know, that whole last turn happened with the flinch, and then, you know, it was GG. But anyway, so our Northside Noiverns are now 3-3 at the halfway mark of the season. 500 average isn't bad at all, especially because we started 0-2. But GG to Gengar Raichu. Again, make sure to go check out the description for any possible links he may have. Next video, we face the Lumiose Luxrays, coached by Young Bisharp, so look out for that video. Thank you all for watching so much, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.